everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of the second reproduction, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start.
きっとこの首輪があってもなくても姫様はどっちでもいいんでしょうね。
そんなこと
ないなら俺を。
But at that moment, his expression changed, as if the words he almost uttered terrified him. He covered his mouth with a trembling hand and stumbled a few steps back.
最低だ。俺何言ってんだろう。
レゼット？
申し訳ございません。少し頭を冷やしてきますので、しばらく離れていてください。来ないでください。今来たら多分俺は死罪に値することを姫様にしてしまうだろうから。
レゼット。
I stood there, lost for words, staring at his exhausted figure. I wanted to cheer him up, but I had no idea how I'd upset him so much. Ignorant words would only cause the opposite effect. I'd only upset him further. But Lezette's never shouted at me like that before. Lezette began to walk away, his figure blurred in the orange sunlight, as if the setting sun wanted to take him away with it, leaving me staring blankly ahead until it sank below the horizon. The refreshing sound of the bells echoed through my ears. After returning from Wind Village, I went to the church to pray. Whenever I harmed someone, I would always go to the church and pray. It was something I'd done for a long time. As I stood in the church, all by myself, I felt the ambivalence resting within me wash away.
ラーメイか。
お前が教会に来るなんて珍しいな。
語らねばならない話があったからな。
Couldn't he tell me later, back at the castle? I tilted my head, confused. Why did he have to speak to me in a church of all places? Seeing me mentally prepare myself for the worst, Gardas gave a weak smile.
不穏な話ではない。いや、お前たちにとっては十分に不穏か。そろそろ話しても良い頃かと思ったのだ。今のお前ならばきっと受け入れられるに違いないと。
一体何の話だ？
It wasn't like Gardas to talk in such a roundabout way. Whatever he was about to discuss was worthy of hesitation, it seemed. Feeling uneasy, I frowned and looked at him, trying to get him to hurry it up. But Gardas wasn't looking at me. He was gazing at the stained glass window near the ceiling, murmuring as if confessing a sin.
この世界がもともと月神と非神の支配を受け安定していた世界だというのは知っているか？
ああ、以前教本で学んだ。
I answered lightheartedly to his surprisingly anticlimactic setup. But melancholy clouded Gardas' face upon hearing my reply.
ではその月神が長らく暗海に去っているせいで均衡を崩している状態だというのは？
均衡を崩している？
I repeated his words blankly, unsure what to make of them. Gardas slowly closed his eyes, hiding his dust-colored pupils from me. He breathed in deeply, as if trying to come to some kind of resolution, then began to speak again.
そうだ。初代デスライード女王、お祖母様が魔王となった以降は各地に魔王が立ち加護を与えていたおかげで収まっていたが。
待って、お前は何を言っている？
My mind couldn't keep up with all the information being thrown at me. I spoke without thinking, and had to take a few moments to calm myself down. Then, with a suppressed voice, I asked Gardas something, I lowered my voice because we were in a church. And because what Gardas was talking about was almost taboo.
魔王がこの公開を支えていただと。
やはり信じられんか。
Not just in heterodoxism, but in all of the other teachings of Lame too, it's said that the world was being eaten up by demons. While Orthodoxism asked its followers to forgive the demons for existing, heterodoxism simply regarded them as evil, opposing the demons for their corrosion of the world. If what Gardas just said about the demon lords and ladies was true, then every single human alive would lose their very foundations of their faith. That's how deep the spiritual influence of Lame's teachings were in humanity.
にわかには信じられないが、お前が今さら嘘をつくとも思えない。
After hearing my honest thoughts, Gardas looked at me and chuckled. Then he looked over at the statue of Lame and began to talk, his tone nostalgic.
時とは残酷なものだ。最初はあれほどありがたがっていたというのに、長い時が流れるにつれ、人々はその恩恵と理由を忘れていった。挙句、偶然発生してしまった天才を魔王のせいにしだし、魔族狩りまで始めてな。魔が滅んでいくことで人々の生活はさらにすさみ、それを魔族の呪いだとして、人はより魔族を迫害していった。なんとも皮肉な悪循環だとは思わんか。
In other words, the history I'd been taught as a human was completely wrong. Nobody would have thought that us humans, who were trying to save the world, had already been saved by the demons instead. Even though I was currently on the demon's side, I couldn't accept something like that so easily. Everything I thought I knew about the world had been turned upside down. I began to wonder if everything before my eyes was just an illusion. I'd come this far believing in myself, so what could I do now? The answer was obvious, of course. I didn't need to ask anything. Ever since I'd begun to doubt the teachings of heterodoxism, I'd been preparing myself for something like this in the corner of my heart. Accepting Gardas's words would mean that I was the evil one, not the demons. As the faces of all the people I'd killed appeared in my mind's eye, the trembling in my fingers began to spread. I couldn't keep calm anymore. I clenched my fists and cried out, my head bowed low.
この人の世すべてが偽りならば、私は何を信じればいい？
すべてではありません。
レセット、お前も聞いていたのか？
ええ。すまないガルです。立ち聞きをするつもりはなかったんだ。
わかっている。クリスと仲直りに来たのだろう。
お前のそういう聡いところが腹が立つ。
なんだったら代弁してやろうか。
そこまで口下手じゃない。
では邪魔者は去るとしようか。
レセット、
ウィントでは大変失礼をいたしました。進化にあるまじき言動と無礼をどうかお許しくださいませ。
Are you gonna finally admit to him you love him or what?
そのような他人行儀な物言いをするな。
事実、俺は姫様のしもべですから。
I felt like those words had just built a wall between us. I bowed my head, suddenly feeling lonely, causing Lezette to relax his expression. Then he said to me in his usual gentle voice.
そう。俺のこの姫様を主としてお慕いする気持ちが揺らぎないものであるように、人が人を思う真心はまごうことなきもの。きっと今は間違った方向に曲がってしまっているだけなのです。それを正しい方向に導いていけるのは 姫様しかいない。世界が偽りだらけでも全てではありませんよ。姫様。
Whether his voice was cold or gentle, Lezette only spoke to me as his mistress. That, and only that. I wondered if he was still angry, but his face showed nothing of the sort. Then why? Don't tell me that confession way back then was just a delusion. If things kept going like this, I wouldn't be able to hold back my tears. I turned away from him, biting my lower lip.
帰るぞ、レセト。
はい。
I wanted nothing more than to be by his side, but his voice forced a wedge between us. It hurt so much. I couldn't handle the pain. Tomorrow's the day off in the Demon Kingdom. I'm gonna go to sleep. Holiday night. And I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this one, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.